Hey, what's up? It's Cam Peterson. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow all of our content.
You're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. The round, MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America. It's our fourth for 2022 from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Welcome everyone to the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1. I'm Greg White. This is Jason Pridmore, 2-time world champion. Now, Jason, when we left Virginia International Raceway a couple of weeks ago in this class, we thought Max Van had the win, and we thought he had a huge points lead. But things have changed.
Yeah, really big points lead, and everybody was left wondering what they were going to do to catch this kid. But there was a technical infraction after the race we found out, and now it's closed everything back up.
So let's take a look at the points on how they were at the end of VIR. And I want you to keep an eye on Max Van and Cody Wyman, those numbers, 95 and 56, because this is the way it looked when they were done. But when the technical infraction came in and Max Van was disqualified, Jason, now only 11 points, but a 30-point swing.
Yeah, big swing. Cody Wyman called me on Tuesday and says, wow, now I'm only 11 points back. But really, Greg, when you look at the rest of the people below Max Van, it gives all of them a little bit of hope as well as we come to the place where there'll be a lot of draft in Road America.
Now let's get to our MotoAmerica Live Plus crew, Robbie Floyd and Roger Hayden, as they take it from here.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Avery Dreher and the SportbikeTrackGear.com Juniors is the pole sitter, something we have not seen before. I think the best finish might have been a 7th place at Barber last year, but there's other ladies and men ready to go fast here today, one of those being Kayla Yako for the 7th place qualifier on her Kawasaki. Joe Lamandry looking for his first win this year. Gus Rodeo starting on that front row. He's done it before. Let's go down to Michael Hild, who's trackside, and I'm sure he's going to catch up with one of these riders.
Yeah, I've put a new contact lens in so I can actually recognize the riders now. Again, apologies to Ben Gloddy for mistakenly identifying him. We're on the grid. If we just look back here, this is obviously going the wrong way around the course, but look how packed it is down here. A full grid of talented guys and girls. We don't have too long now till lights out. I want to see if we have a little bit of time just to talk to Bad Boys Racing Avery Dreher. And I tell you what, not necessarily a bad boy, but certainly a fast boy in qualifying. Your first pole position, great job.
Yeah, I'm feeling good going into the race, you know. I have about almost a second on second place, so feeling pretty confident going into it, and just gonna go out there, get a good start. And I gotta say thanks to the whole Bad Boys Racing team and Dale Quarterly for putting this bike together, helping me get out here and go fast.
Well, I've got to say, I love the colour scheme. I'm blind as a bat. I can never recognise anyone, so I like the colour scheme. But just turn the camera in. Look at look. Have you ever seen so many well-dressed gentlemen on the grid in an STG Junior? They're looking pretty dapper, right? They're looking pretty dapper.
Yeah, I like the colours. I picked them out myself.
Good job. Well, have a good race. Good job, Avery, and thanks, guys. Here's Joe Lamandry Jr. It is today that he gets his victory. Joe, very quickly, full focus. We're not going to talk to you for too long, but what's the game plan? Can you break them, or is it going to be a freight train?
I doubt I can break away, but I'm definitely going to stop doing the whole follow the leader thing. I'm going to go straight to the front and push as hard as I know I can. And if I break away, I break away. I doubt that's going to happen, but hopefully I pull away from at least half of the pack and break it up a little bit. But like I said, I'm just going to go straight to the front, ride fast, ride hard. I got an amazing bike under me, an amazing team behind me, and I'm ready to go.
Good job. Have a good one. Well, let's go back a little bit. If we've got a couple of minutes left, Cody Wyman will head up the start of row number 2, and he's just limbering up down here, getting himself ready. Max Van, championship leader Aiden Tao. Let's get a quick word with Aiden if we can, very, very quickly. Let me come round this side very quickly. And no, you don't have to move on my account. You can stay in the shot. Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Aiden, a great view down into turn 1. What's the plan?
My plan is, to get a good start. I know it's going to be like a 10-rider battle, the whole race. I'm going to try to, get a good start, hang with the top guys, stick with the pack, and, make a good move on the last lap. Good
job. I like it. Giving it away strategy. It's a good job that no one else is listening, right? So have a good one. Have a good one, buddy. Right, we've seen Kayla earlier on. Chase Black was on the front row of the grid for the first time in his young career, riding for Pure Attitude Racing. Not on the front row today, but he's going to be in the mix. We spoke to him during Mike on the mic. Are you okay to talk? You want to talk? Yeah, we're good. Chase, great job once again. Another top 10 in qualifying. You learned so much at the last race. What can you bring into this one?
Just a little more aggressiveness, honestly. I had the speed. I was right there with him, just not enough elbows. And that was pretty much the only thing. Just get those elbows out, and this race, and then we'll be up there at the front.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Black's getting the elbows out, guys. Black's getting the elbows out. Dad's getting happy. Pops as well. Liam McDonald. Well, he needs to get his elbows out in the Twins Cup race. But right, let's keep going further back. Levy Baddy, we're not going to get a chance to talk to him down here, but I know there are a lot of people from Europe that are watching this one. All eyes in Belgium and all eyes from the Superbike paddock back in Europe on Levy Baddy. And we go even further back to some of our other riders. Yandel Medina also down here. Joseph Marignello, who we also spoke to. And we've also got a couple of other females that are on the grid as well down here as well. Helmets are going on. We're not going to get a chance to talk to them. We're going to move just to the side because am I getting an umbrella as well? You can stand. There you go. It's all good. There we go. I've never had an umbrella, girl or boy. There we go. What's your name? Which team are you with?
I'm Drew, and I'm with the Cycle Pros Racing team.
Excellent. And how's it gone for your guys in qualifying?
It's been going pretty dang well. Unfortunately, we didn't make a qualifying or practice today early in the morning because my brother Jake just had to graduate today.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, you're on umbrella duty, and you've done a great job. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. That's another first on MotoAmerica Live Plus. So we're going to move back this way just so we don't lose the microphone signal. And as you can see, we are being given now just a couple of minutes to go until it is going to be lights out. There's JT. We spoke to him earlier. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes, I'm being told. We have a little bit longer than ever. All of the teams down here as well. We talked about it during Mike on the Mic. We talked about it during King of the Baggers as well. There's nothing that these guys can do now. The teams have done their work. There's Chase Black's mum over here as well. Nothing that she can do. Nothing you can do now. It's all down to him, right? It's not. That's it. So, but everyone's looking really relaxed. I've got to say, just a couple of minutes before lights out, it is looking like a really, really calm grid. I've not really experienced this in MotoAmerica. There's focus, though. Kayla Yakov over here. Look at the determination. I love seeing this, the different riders. These are all youngsters. They're trying to make a name for themselves. And Kayla Yakov, already a podium finisher in MotoAmerica. I'm not even going to go anywhere near her. I'm just going to leave her focus. But you can see the difference between some of the riders that are quite happy to talk, some of the riders that are quite chilled, and the full focus from Kayla Yakov. The klaxon goes, the helmets are on, the stands are coming off, tire warmers are already off. So we're just going to move to the side here, because they are going to actually get started with this warm-up lap. And I think we actually have to leave the grid. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this because we need to move across here. The cameraman is going to try and get over. Let's give him a hand as well. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so the bikes are about to get off on their warm-up lap. Let's hand back as we get ready for this one. It's lights out, STG Juniors. This is going to be a cracking race.
Yes, it is, Michael, and they prepare for their sighting lap for the SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors. This is going to be a pack race. Will there be someone that can break away? Even Joe Lamandry, who seems to be the fastest this year, I think at any given moment by himself says, I don't think I can pull away. I don't expect to see many people pull away. If it is, I think Lamandry would probably be the one.
Yeah, possibly, but even he knows it's going to be a tall order. I guess the biggest thing if you want to pull away is if you draft into the lead in turn 5 and then all the way to the chicane turn 11, have the best second split of your life, second and third split, and break that gap and hope the guys behind you are really going back and forth and holding each other up. But this draft is, even if you're a little bit back, it's going to bring the group together.
Generally, these are all younger riders, some just barely eligible even to race this, whether they're 15 years old, 16, and we've seen several riders that are still young in age, but have still been doing it for a few years. The oldest, without question, is Cody Wyman, been there. Experience has got to play a factor as well.
And I think that the experience for him will come in knowing the draft. He's had a lot of opportunities to draft with other people and set up his strategy. There's probably not a situation that he hasn't been in by now.
Gus Rodeo's had success here in dealing with that draft, but he's even bigger than he was last year. And we say it each week, he was once the small kid, and you can count on him charging through the field. But Lamandry, Dreher, Wyman, Max Van, Aiden Tao haven't mentioned, Kayla Yakov. There's certain areas on the track that she's going to be pushing it. Hayden Bickney's, Chase Black, Levy Batty. We haven't even talked about Levy Batty. He's going to figure out this track more and more as the race progresses. Again, it's not a race with the SportbikeTrackGear.com juniors. When you see many breakaways, maybe 2 or 3 riders, but there's usually a pack ready to swallow you up, whether it's been Rocco Landers in the year past or if even last year with Tyler Scott and Ben Glotty. All right, the guys next door are going to get to call a good one. This MotoAmerica Championship at Road America. Avery Dreher with a pole position, the first in Avery's career. We'll see if he can hold on to it till the end.
Let's take a look at the starting grid for the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Avery Dreher checked out in qualifying and got on pole, Jay.
Yeah, 0.9 over LeMandry Jr. and Gus Rodeo. Then we have Cody Wyman, Vandenbroek, Max Van and Aiden Dow there on row number 2. Row 3, Kayla Yakov, her first time here. Bicknese, Black, Beatty, Rivera, and Yendel Medina there just outside row 4. Then we have Owen Williams, Marinello, Vandal, James Scalp, and Bamer.
There's your pole sitter, Avery Dreher, the 99. Looking to capitalize on this starting position. I'll tell you, man, what a run it was for Dreher, and he's been fast all weekend long.
Yeah, we've slowly been seeing him getting closer and closer. He was on the podium at VIR. How about Gus Rodeo? And then, of course, Joe LeMandry Jr. still looking for his first win. Had a good chat with him today. And he's got a plan, as everybody does. Cody Wyman there, you see, second in points. So getting ready to kick this Junior Cup race off.
And the Bad Boy Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400 of Avery Dreher capitalize on this opportunity. SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1 is underway. 7 laps scheduled in this one. And look at Dreher trying to move over and break the draft, but he's going to lose it right away to the 62 of Joe LeMandry Jr. So Bazooka Joe, is he going to lead up the inside? It looked like Yakov may have had position, but she goes to 4th position.
Yeah, she's in a good spot now as they get this run down the back straightaway for the first time, or out of turn 3. Joe LeMandry Jr. told me earlier, he says, Jason, I'd really like to lead into turn 5 on the first lap. I don't care if I come out of turn 3 and 4th. I can draft to the front. Well, the problem now, Joe, is everybody's going to be trying to draft you. So we'll see if LeMandry on the 62 can do anything. And here you go, Greg. We're going to end up being 4-5 wide by the time they get down into turn 5 in the Lucas Oil helicopter shot. Yakov goes up the inside, and we remember her on the brakes in Atlanta. As you can see, Gus Rodeo goes sliding down the inside. Is he able to make the corner? Kayla's going to turn it back up underneath, and I believe she's going to be leading going up into turn 6.
14-year-old Kayla Yakov on the 31 takes over the lead. Early days in this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup on that Altus Motorsports Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400. Gus Rodeo, the 96. On the Rodeo Warhorse HSBK Racing entry takes over the spot. A nice pass by Gus Rodeo out of New Jersey.
And LeMandry Jr. also went up the inside there and was able to sneak through on Kayla. So top 3 just kind of getting away. Man, that carousel, Greg, it really can tell you what bikes are handling well and which ones maybe need a little bit of work. But we saw those 3 just kind of getting away. And that's been a race, though. As you can see, Bicknese there in 4th with a good start for Bicknese. I think he came from, was it 3rd row, I believe, that we saw Hayden back on. So, yeah, middle of 3rd row, get himself up into 4th. But those first 3, again, just starting to creep away.
Yakov going up the inside into Canada corner, but it's going to be Bazooka Joe LeMandry holding on to the spot. Yakov going side by side with Rodeo. That is, of course, all of a sudden the gap is closed, gone. Just like that here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Bicknese on the 69 in 4th spot. Had a look up the inside, nothing doing. Here they go into the front straightaway. LeMandry Jr., the sitting duck with the draft of these smaller displacement motorcycles. Coming up the front straightaway. Everybody catching a draft. There goes.
Everybody's looking for that draft, aren't they? And you can see Cody Wyman now gets himself into 5th place. We're going to be 4 wide again, G-Dub, as we head down into turn 1. And you can see everyone spread out all over the place as they come down here into the braking zone. Back a couple of gears on these small bikes into turn 1. Wyman gets himself up into 4th, doesn't he?
He certainly does. So Cody Wyman, who is credited with that win last time by.
Second race there at VIR.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moving himself into 4th spot. Let's check in with Hannah.
From where I said, it looks like Kayla's currently in the 3rd position, and you would never know by looking at her that she's got a few factors working against her here. This is actually her first time at this track, so she's really still trying to figure out the layout. More than that, a crash last round has her with a torn ACL and MCL in her left knee. She actually has a brace on underneath her leathers while she's riding.
Yeesh.
I talked to her today, Hannah, and she said she came over to me because I talked to her right after VIR, and she knew she had a problem with her knee.
Ooh, sorry, big knees.
Move, yeah.
Yeah, big knees right there on the 69 on the big knees racing machine with a big front end issue. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Gus Rodeo goes to the front now, but basically Kayla had said torn MCL, torn ACL, scheduled for surgery. Greg, you want to know when?
Next week.
2 days after Barber.
No.
So she's going to ride with this all year long. Is the 31 of Kayla Yakov. She's in this thing for the long haul, and she's still in this championship hunt. And like Hannah said, first time here, so doing a nice job. As you can see, we've got about 10 riders in this lead group at the moment. Looks like Medina is in 9th there, just off the back of this group.
Points leader Max Van also right in the middle of this pack. So the 48 having a good run at it as well. As Gus Rodeo leads us with about 5.5 laps remaining in race number 1 here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. A good look at all these riders that are in tow. And Jay, it's that jostling for position and passing under the brakes that slows the whole pack down and allows riders to bunch up. Here we go, 4 wide, heading into Canada corner. It's going to be big knees. No, Rodeo, aggressive turn in. Make sure everybody stays at bay. Boy, you could wear yourself out calling this one. It looks like Lemandry Jr. may have swept into 2nd place.
Yep, he has. And, the thing is, Greg, is all it takes is one little mistake and create gaps, and sometimes those gaps can be hard to make up. But now we are seeing all the way back as they come across the line this time. We'll count the number of riders that are up in this lead draft. Lemandry Jr. drafts past Gus Rodeo, and look at the draft just a little bit further back. You can see that Bickness is there as well.
Max Van just goes fastest top speed in a multi-rider draft, 106.7 mile an hour compared to 99 from Lemandry Jr. and Gus Rodeo at 98. But Rodeo leads us again as things start to tighten up with 5 laps to go. Gus Rodeo's rolling right now, Hannah.
And Greg, while he's out front right now, I spoke to him earlier and he said his strategy was to stay in that top 3, try to break away. He knows it was kind of an unrealistic goal to have in the hope that he could, but he did not want to be leading across the line during the last lap. So we'll see how this plays out as those laps wind down.
Oh, man, it's just so tight getting down to turn 5 right now. Kayla's out on the outside.
Somebody was almost in the grass.
They were almost in the grass, yeah. Bickness goes back to the front with Rodeo there. You saw Aiden Thau also is up in this lead group. He's positioned himself into 4th, although looks like he might come under fire. He does from Lemandry Jr., who goes back past him.
Yakov going into 2nd. Yep. Nice move there. And it looks like what Hannah talked about with Gus Rodeo is he wants to lead now, but don't want to lead coming onto the front straight, and I don't blame him. The problem is with all these riders in this pack, they all probably have the same mindset. We've seen it before, Jason, in races in years past. Sometimes a little cat and mouse on the last lap. So we'll see if somebody decides to take the reins here, put their head down, and just keep on going as we start to wind these laps down. 4.5 to go through the carousel. Oh, and look at Kayla Yakov sliding that bike around.
Moving, and the first 2 again are trying to get out in front and get away ever so slightly. It is so hard to make a break as Gus Rodeo gets the thing sideways and gets in a little bit too deep, and that's the tiny little mistake that Gus makes that's going to allow everybody else to close back up. Yandel Medina, that last time by in 8th place, was the fastest rider on the lap, 42.5. So we've seen them get into the 41s, and what we saw a 41.9, I believe, was the qualifying time for Avery Dreher. So, look at Levy Batty.
Levy Batty on the 71, trying to go up the inside and get position in 6th spot.
And did you see Cody Wyman take a long look over his head?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, over his shoulder, rather, because he's in the back of this group. He came out of Canada corner, and he thought, I'm just going to let these kids fight it out for a little while. Nobody's going anywhere. Cody told me before the start of the race that he didn't think anybody was going to get away. He says, Jay, it's going to just be a big battle at the front. There's Cody Wyman. He's the last rider in your picture, and he's going to just kind of see what happens here as you see 5 to go, coming up to 4 to go now as these riders all come across the line. spreading out again. Levy Batty is number 71 there, moving through.
Just coming across the stripe, it was Yakov who was credited with the lead, but who knows what's going to happen in turn 1. It is Levy Batty who takes over the spot with about 4 laps to go in this one. Here we go in turn number 3. And Levy Batty, fastest lap of the race, 2:41.928. Last time they went by the finish line. And we have, what, 10 riders deep in this?
Yeah, it's crazy because our pole sitter's in 10th. Avery Dreyer is in 10th at 41.9 is what I was talking about that he did in qualifying. 41.9 now is the quickest lap of the race. But Dreyer has found himself just get shuffled back. But this is what happens. You can see the drafting and the redrafting. This is, nope. Lemandry Jr. still trying to get to that first as Kayla Yakov will lead them down in through turn 5. So she's going to try to make this little breakaway. Is Gus Rodeo going to try to... Yep, Gus Rodeo goes back past as they go up into turn 6.
That was just a good run and drive up the hill for Rodeo. So Yakov with the lead taken away yet again. And Jason, this is really, it seems like this is going to be a race of positioning. Hannah kind of talked about it with Gus Rodeo strategy. But early on, where do you want to be? That's really the question. Where do you want to be in this one? If you're Cody Wyman, you've got to continue to work your way up through the field because you definitely don't want to be on the last lap. You don't want to be in the back of this pack. That's too much work for yourself. But mid-pack seems to be pretty good. And Wyman's done that. He's kind of right in the middle there. It looks like he's going to be 5th.
Oh, gosh, Medina tried to go up underneath him. He's 6th place with Yanda Medina doing a nice job there on the 39 all-white motorcycle, getting himself into position as well.
So Gus Rodeo leading the way on the Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK racing machine, but it looks like Levy Batty on the Bart Karn Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400 has it. Oh, wait a second, there's Yakov. Oh, she's in 2nd spot now on the Altus Motorsports racing machine. We also have the SportbikeTrackGear.com team of Lemandry Jr. Max Van is in the mix. Aiden Thau is there. Yandel Medina. Cody Wyman. Avery Dreyer. This is crazy.
There's just so many people that have a shot at this, and you're just kind of going through the motions for the first 5-6 laps. Once you kind of have done this 3-4 times up the front straightaway, you kind of know what you have underneath you compared to the other riders around you. So it's just a matter of not getting shuffled back too far like you were talking about just now. And it's also, you don't really want to lead the last lap.
Lucas Oil helicopter shot as we have lead changes with only 3 laps to go in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1, and it's Levy Batty who takes over the spot for the moment. There's been over a dozen lead changes so far in this race, and Gus Rodeo doesn't want to let Batty lead. So once again, Rodeo out of New Jersey takes over the spot. But here we go, Jason, down into turn number 5. And Kayla Yakov has been unbelievable on the brakes, just like she was at Road Atlanta. And we'll see if Yakov's able to get position and lead us once again out of turn 5.
Look at Cody Wyman down the inside on the left in the green leathers. He's trying to look at going past a few riders and not going to be able to make it. But Levy Batty is, as you can see, Aiden Thau's going to chop the nose off and get through now. Aiden Thau leads out of turn 5. Is Gus Rodeo going to do this again up into turn 6? Let's have a look. Thau's going to lead him. So you got the 55 now of Aiden Thau leading this race. Gets in there a little fast, Greg. Lost a little bit of exit speed there. Gus Rodeo sticking to the back of him right now as they come down towards turn 8.
Aiden Thau out of Fresno, California on that Calashine Racing Ninja 400. Batty in 2nd spot. Rodeo in 3rd.
Medina there right now in 4th. And Aiden Thau trying to get a little bit of a gap. It's funny because when you see any kind of gap, you think, oh, someone's trying to break away. But you can see Aiden Thau right now trying his best to get a little bit of a gap on everyone. Levy Batty's still sitting there. Lemandry Jr. gets himself into 3rd. And look at Yanda Medina gets himself into 3rd spot. And Levy Batty lost the front there in turn 10 and was able to get it back together. But the 39 is on the move.
So here we go. The 55 trying to hold on to this break. We've seen this before, though. Once the riders in back start to use the draft and pass maneuver, that gap can be evaporated in a matter of moments. Yakov trying to go up the inside in 4th spot. Got it slowed down, but lost a little bit of drive.
On our exit, just cut the entry off ever so slightly, and they kind of have pulled back up on the back of Aiden Thau, who has enjoyed this lead since turn 5. But Greg, I'm having a feeling that there's going to be 3 or 4 trying to go by as Gus Rodeo tried to go up underneath the inside there of Yakov and wasn't able to make it. Now Gus Rodeo is going to be in that draft. We've seen Gus on the 96 be a little bit relentless on not wanting to let anybody get in front of him, but he's this lap here, he's gone back probably a little bit further than we've seen, so he's trying to get in that draft. As you can see now, Yandel Medina has taken the lead with 2 laps to go.
Another lead change in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup category. These smaller displacement motorcycles as Levy Batty goes into the top spot.
Wow, Gus Rodeo's got a lot of roll speed, a lot of corner speed for the 96. He's put himself back into that position, Greg, of being in that top 3 or 4 as he gets shuffled back by Thau and Lamandry Jr. again. Lamandry Jr. out over the curbing. Yandel Medina's tapping the back of his bike, and I don't think too many people are going to listen to that. They're going to be doing their best to draft right back by him.
Here we go, Fanning 5, 6 wide, all jostling for position as they close in your race leader. Levy Batty. Batty, who's from Belgium on that Barcon racing machine. In 4 races, only has had 1 finish. Hannah?
Well, I talked to Joel Lamandry Jr. a little bit earlier today, and he said he really surprised himself here this weekend with his pace. They were working on some small setup changes, but overall he's in a really good position on this last couple laps here we've got to go to kind of draft across the line. You don't want to be leading across that line as we've seen earlier today and even throughout this race.
Yeah, it's really difficult if you're a racer to really figure out where you want to be. I know where Yakov is, hoping to win. That position right there is probably not the ideal spot. Jason, looking at this, what do you think? Give me a number here. 3rd, 5th. What do you think?
Coming out of the last corner on the last lap.
Yeah.
I think you can win it from as far as 4th back, but I think the problem is that even if you're 5th or 6th, you're going to get drafts, but it's going to be so spread out. As you can see, Medina going up underneath Aiden Thau now, really confident into turn 10 is the 39. I really believe that Medina has a pretty fast motorcycle, and he looks a little smaller than most of the other riders. So, you know, if he could be 3rd or 4th coming out of the last corner, he has a shot. Batty right now in that catbird seat leading at the front. It'll be interesting to see if there's any gamemanship, though, like as far as guys messing around with each other a little bit, not wanting to lead going into that last lap. As you can see, Medina now breaks really late going into Canada corner and gets right up behind Batty as they head up from Canada corner into turn 13.
And we're hearing that your pole sitter Avery Dreyer has gone down.
Oh. But Cody's not in a bad spot. Cody's in 5th, so let's go a little bit further back. This is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen going into turn 10. And Kayla looks like she goes past, and then he just had a little bit too much brake lever on and tipped over in turn 10 into the grass there. So
sorry we missed that one because we were all eyes focused on the 39 of Medina, who's doing a great job. White flag out.
Well, and Lamandry Jr. would have won it there, right?
Okay. So
look at Cody Wyman. He's decided to take it to the front. And actually, I don't think it's a bad play right now because he knows he's probably going to get drafted by 3 or 4 riders down this back straightaway. And then maybe he will try to come from 3rd or 4th or 5th back coming on the run to the line. But look at how close everybody's together. Gus Rodeo doing a nice job. Kayla's in a good spot here to maybe try to draft those first 2 guys in front of her and lead down into turn 5. But do you want to lead into turn 5? That is the question.
I don't know. Rodeo's going to give it a go. I know Yakov and Wyman had worked earlier this weekend together in qualifier number 1.
Look at Yandel on the very outside in the yellow leathers. He's going to have a little bit of room there on the outside of these guys, and he's going to slide himself into 2nd. So I like Medina's position.
Oh,
Batty. What happened to Batty? Oh, Medina maybe ran a little bit wide too. So who's the breakaway right now?
Yakov?
It's Gus Rodeo.
Gus Rodeo.
Yes.
So Rodeo doesn't know what's going on behind him, just with his head down.
Oh, he's got to keep his head down now. Now it's like you wish you could have your pit board somewhere else to kind of tell you.
Yeah, or rear view mirrors on these bikes. These are motorcycles you can buy off the production floor of your dealership. 14 years old to 28, the limit in this class. And Gus Rodeo, so he has a look over his shoulder, and he sees, wait a second, what just happened?
Got a little bit of a gap. Now it's just all... You just got to go as hard as you can right now at this Gus Rodeo, and he's got to hope that he can get through this chicane as well as he can. He's got a big enough gap now, without question, and it's up to Kayla and Joe Lamandry Jr. to try to run him back down. Cody Wyman has been positioning himself as Yandel Medina goes up underneath him as well. Again, I don't think it's a bad spot. As you can see, a bike down on the outside of that turn. And Levy Batty's gone all the way back to the back of this group, as has Aiden Thau. And Greg, I think that they've got a bit of a run here. He's moved over to the right, which is going to make the track longer, but he had no real risk of getting drafted here, Gus Rodeo. Look how tight he's gone in there, and he's really allowed the others to get themselves into position.
Big mistake from Kayla Yakov.
Yep.
And that, boy, I thought getting past for third might put Yakov in a great position, but there's too much of a gap. So all of a sudden, it looked like Gus Rodeo might have had it. But who knows now?
Lamandry Jr.'s in the perfect spot now. Lamandry Jr. is right where he needs to be. He doesn't have any threat from anybody behind him. Of course, he doesn't know that now. He's just got a draft at the finish.
Kayla Yakov in third. She's going to come under fire from some other bikes. Here we go. Up the hill towards start-finish line. It's Gus Rodeo. He's trying to hold off Lamandry Jr. There's nothing he can do. Lamandry Jr. comes across the line and will win by 0.06 of a second on a perfect draft and pass maneuver. It's Bazooka Joe Lamandry Jr. who gets it done today. Kayla Yakov holds on for third. Medina in fourth. Wyman in fifth. Levy Batty recovers to sixth. Max Van in seventh. Your points leader, Aiden Thau, Hayden Bickneys, and Chase Black, your top 10. What a run from the 17-year-old Joe Lamandry Jr., a construction worker on Long Island by day, gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, gets done with work at 6. He goes home and does some schoolwork, and then he works out, rinse and repeat. And it's all paid off for Lamandry Jr.
The whole last lap worked out great for these two guys with some mistakes from others down into turn 5. Lamandry put himself in a nice spot there coming up to the line, and he just pips Gus Rodeo at the line, Greg, by 0.06 of a second.
Got to see that photo finish.
Here we go. Man, it is close.
That is close. Here's the photo finish. This is what really determines it.
Well, that's the battle behind.
Yeah, that's definitely the battle behind.
Yeah, because that's that wasn't the shot at the end of the race for sure.
But a 42.388, 2-minute 42.388 for Gus Rodeo, his fastest lap of the race for him personally. Wow. And at least by our timing and scoring right now, it looks like it didn't quite get it done. So a 2:42.2 for Joe Lamandry. All right, here we go back to the photo finish. And we are looking at it's that leading edge, the first white line, and you can see it is, well, you can't really see it that clearly, but we can.
Yeah,
you can see positioning. And the good news is they're the exact same motorcycle. So they're Kawasaki Ninja 400s, the ZX 400. So can't wait to hear how Lamandry Jr. was able to do it. This kid is entertaining. You want to hang around for this interview. It's going to be fun.
I'm Robbie Floyd with Roger Hayden. Roger, we knew that day was coming. We knew it was coming very soon, and finally it's here. Joe Lamandry Jr. on the SportbikeTrackGear.com. Kawasaki takes his first victory in the junior class. After finishing second last year at Pittsburgh, he finally gets that first win.
Yeah, and he's just kind of put himself all year in really good spots, you know, been in contention to win a lot of the other races this year. And, you know, I always tell you, if you put yourself in good spots, eventually you're going to get that win. And, you know, Gus did what he was supposed to do. He got that gap and was almost got enough gap on that last lap. I mean, he put his head down and did all he could. And, you know, Lamandry was just able to get close enough to get that draft to the line.
Joe Lamandry giving a ride back to a downed rider there towards the end of that race. Gus Rodeo got to be heartbroken. This is we saw a more aggressive Gus Rodeo out there. I think it's one of his best races of the year. And sometimes, you know, when we went into the carousel, I thought there's a chance. But when you said if they can just pull him in by Canada corner, and that's what Joe did. And if he was close enough there, you had that feeling that Joe Lamandry had a very good shot at it.
Yeah, you could just tell going into the Canada corner that they made up a lot of that ground, and barely. And luckily for Joe Lamandry, he didn't have an out-braking door with anybody to compete with, and he was able to carry his speed and then really do good that last sector. But Gus Rodeo looked like you said, looked like a different rider today. Was super aggressive, wanted to lead, and you know, honestly, he was doing what the best he could on the last lap, and his strategy almost worked out.
What a run. What a run. And this will help him out in that championship as well. Again, looking back at the results for Joe LeMandry, even last year, I thought he had won, but he didn't. He finished second, but he had 2/3 and a second place last year. In it for the long haul in the full season. Kayla Yakov, another strong podium finish for her as well in that run. This is a race, much like in Yuasa Stock 1000s, where there are several riders. Could the experience of Cody Wyman paid off? I mean, even with all the experience, you had to be at the right place at the right time, and sometimes you get stuck out. One little mistake, not by your part, but somebody else's part, really affects you.
Well, honestly, I think Gus Rodeo caught those guys off guard.
Yeah,
and they went into turn 5, and they were fanning out and thought everybody was just going to stay together. And he put his head down and spread that gap out. And I think it caught a lot of them off surprise. I think they thought it was going to be a big group all the way the last lap up to the finish.
Joe's dad, his biggest supporter. Look at this run up to the finish. It looked like it was going to be Gus Rodeo, but again, he's cutting that wind and the power of the Kawasaki Joe LeMandry at the end. And this is from the near side, and that's probably about a tire's width and not the full length. I'm talking about from the front part of that rim to the edge of the tire, about 5 inches look to be the difference. And they have a camera on the other side getting that reverse view as well.
Good to see Caleb back on the podium.
A strong finish, and you can tell that knee's bothering her. And you don't feel the pain nearly as much when you finish on the podium there. And think about Joe and how he's turned it around through the past couple of years. You know, a couple of years ago, he looked like he was just having fun out there, partying in the paddock. He had the long earrings, and he's given a more professional approach this year with the STG team, and a little more quiet, a little more reserved, but he's letting his actions speak for himself on the track.
And doing it full time, I think helps a lot too, and being on a team. And last year when he stepped in and was really competitive and would be at the front sometime. But it seems like this year he's found that consistency where he can be at the front at all the races.
And also think about it as we get progressing towards the year. He's been fast in the front half. We head up to New Jersey, a track that we know that he's fast at. That's going to be the penultimate round. That'll be the next to last stop. If he can keep building it there, then get into those home races. I mean, who knows what lies ahead for Joe LeMandry. His teammate, Max Van, who had the points lead coming into this race, going to finish 7th. He was in that pack, but he was never in the front of that pack.
No, he was just always kind of at the tail end, but you could tell in the last lap he was trying to move up there a couple spots, but just the whole race he was 6th, 7th, 8th, and just couldn't. And I'm going to tell you, it's hard to make passes in the Junior Cup. When you go into turn 1 and they're 5 wide, where are you going to go?
Absolutely.
You go into turn 5, they're 5 wide. There's really, sometimes it's hard to be able to put yourself in a spot to make a pass.
This is a special day. It's a first for Joe LeMandry Jr. in MotoAmerica, taking the win. And is it going to be? It's going to be a social media pop there, throwing his bazooka bubble gum up in the into the crowd, into the air.
Wish he would have threw some up this way.
I know, but I want to keep my jaw right where it is. One bite of that bazooka bubble gum, my jaw's done for. Hey, LeMandry, Joe LeMandry, congratulations, taking that first victory. Gus Rodeo second. Kayla Yakov rounding off the podium. Send it to the guys next door.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
The results for race number 1 of SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, 0.06 of a second, and Kayla Yakov able to hold off Dina, Cody Wyman, Levy, Batty. Let's get right down to Hannah, to a very happy LeMandry Jr. with his first win.
It is, Greg, a career first victory for Joe LeMandry Jr. and a very hard-fought one at that. You guys saw them mixing it up out there lap after lap. Joe, earlier when I spoke to you, you said you really surprised yourself in this morning's session and at your pace. I'm wondering if you surprised yourself once again today with this victory.
Actually, I'm not surprised. I knew it was coming eventually, and just the team's been working so hard. Sport Bike Track Gear, Boss Racing, CyberSafe Solutions, Bob Robbins, UTR, Uda. These guys really worked hard to get me an amazing bike, and I knew I had to do something different so I could stop, finish second or third, and I changed it up a little bit, and it seems like it works. So I'm going to keep this momentum going tomorrow. I got to thank RST, Arai Americas, and just everyone else who came here to support. Huge congrats to Gus and Kayla. They rode really good. This was a very hard race, but I played it smart and I rode hard.
start and I ended up at the top. So huge thank you to everyone, and I'm excited for tomorrow.
No surprise here for Joe LaMondre Jr., guys.
Great ride. I mean, you know, I want to know what he changed up.
I know. I talked to him this morning, and I said, "Are we going to finally do this today, Joe?" And he's like, "I think I can." And he was happy with some of the things that he worked on with his riding, it sounded like. So that's gone back down to Hannah, though.
A very close finish for our second place finisher today, Gus Rodeo. Gus, take me through that last lap. When I spoke to you earlier, you said you really didn't want to lead across the line, but you kind of got a pretty good gap there.
No, I decided to look back on the last lap, and after I put my head down, see if I can make a gap and just lead to the line. I know it's worked for some people before. It's never worked for me, and it still didn't, but we tried our best, and this really feels good for me. My mechanic, Rich, he had my motor in pieces apart in the shop on Wednesday, and we weren't even sure if we were going to have a motor for this weekend, but he busted his butt all week, and this is really for him. He's going to get an iPhone tonight, and yeah, I'm super happy. Thanks to my whole team, my mom, my sister, my brother back home, my grandparents, Artie, Mike is watching, I'm sure, Frank, my dad, everybody. Thank you, HJC, Moto Liberty, Luckstar VIP, Evolve GT, NJ Mini GP, first and second here, so thank you guys.
Second place today for Gus Rodeo, guys.
Hey, Greg, looking back at that race, I think when Gus goes back, look at the lead he's got right now, and I think that Canada Corner was the spot where if he'd have taken his normal line into Canada Corner instead of maybe being defensive, you look at how much he lost this race by. It was just a little bit, but he sacrificed a little bit into Canada Corner, maybe thinking the guys were going to go up underneath him, and I think if he looks back, he'll learn from this, and I think he'll be better next time, Hannah.
We've heard this name a lot this season, and this won't be the last time. Kayla Yakov rounding out our STG Junior Cup podium in third place today. Kayla, you were leading that group for third across the line. How'd you come out on top?
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy race. We tried to play it out a couple times throughout the race, but, you know, last lap didn't go the way we wanted, but we're here on the podium, and that's exactly what we wanted for the weekend. I totally didn't expect it. New track for me, so it's really cool to be up here. But definitely, I just want to say this year's 100% dedicated to my brother Dylan, who passed away last year, and this one's for him. And yeah, just thank you to the whole Altus Motorsports crew, my dad, WPS, HCC, Bison Leathers, Bo, Moto Lawyer, TST Industries, everyone for helping me out this year. Thank you all very much.
Great job by Kayla Yakov, guys.
Just an awesome job, and again, had a great conversation with her earlier. If you can get a word in, because there's so many people coming up to her wanting her autograph and wanting to have a little part of Kayla's history here, and great to see her. Good finish, first time here. Great job.
Here's the way the points spread themselves out. Only 7 now between Max Van and Cody Wyman. Gus Rodeo right there in the mix as well. And a tie of LaMondre Jr., Aiden Thal, and Kayla Yakov only 21 back. Pretty snug, Jay. I mean, wow. Pretty incredible this point of the season.
Yeah, top 6 riders all within one race of each other as far as 25 points for that win. A little further back, you see Bick Neeson, Marinello, Owen Williams in 12th, Levy Batty. I mean, Levy Batty, and some of these guys are capable of winning races. It's every weekend, especially at these tracks where there's a lot of drafting, man, it can go anywhere you want. I mean, you could have seen Cody Wyman up there today. We did get a word that Yandel Medina passed under a waving yellow and got docked a couple spots, so it moved Cody Wyman up. So points-wise, it's just a lot of jostling around going right now.
Cannot wait to see what SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race brings us tomorrow. Well, Joe LaMondre Jr., or Bazooka Joe, finally finds his way to the top step of the podium. Coming up, another race, Junior Cup race number 2. Stay with us for another exciting race.